Welcome, everybody, to the A Little Less Fear podcast. I'm your producer and host of the show, Dr. Lino Martinez. This is your motivational podcast of people's incredible journeys. Oh yeah, let's do this. Welcome back, everybody, to the A Little Less Fear podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Lino, and today I'm so happy to introduce Kate Glendon. As a certified professional coach, she can help you clarify your goals, identify the obstacles holding you back, and then come up with strategies for overcoming each obstacle. In creating these strategies, she targets your unique skills and gifts by helping you to make the most of your strengths. She provides the support you need to achieve long-lasting change. I love motivation, and I love overcoming obstacles. We're in perfect alignment. Welcome to A Little Less Fear podcast, Kate.
Thank you for having me. So excited to be here.
Thank you. Hey, so Kate, what brought you to this journey to become a life coach? What happened in your life that said, you know what, this is going to be my new career?
Wow, that's a really good question. I think it's something that has always been something I wanted to do. I love helping others, which is why I went into the profession of public health to improve others' health outcomes. And I was always that type of friend that, was very understanding as well. But, I was a people pleaser. I was living life trying to be up to other people's expectations and not living for myself. And the more I kind of started to get older, I realized, I wasn't doing things that was for me. I was doing things to fit in. That was the right thing to do. That was, you're supposed to do. Now you get, your graduate degree. Now you keep climbing that professional ladder.
It's kind of like you kept kind of like check mark. Okay, done this.
Yeah, my life was a bunch of check marks. I'm like, okay, by the time I'm 30, I had done more than most people had, and I wanted more. And, I'd gotten the job that I kind of always wanted, and I was really into mental health and supporting my other colleagues and friends and coaching them through situations. And then what happened was I started, kind of working all the time. I had no boundaries. I was always worried what other people thought of me. And I kind of just hit an ultimate low where I was seeking validation from external sources.
Okay, I'm sorry, you said something that just, you said you had no boundaries. What do you mean you had no boundaries?
I said yes to everything.
Oh, okay. The people-pleasing aspect.
Yeah. So, it was a no, in the gut, but I was like, yes. And then you go there and you're just like, oh my God, checking your watch. When can I leave? I'm here. Check the box. I took the picture. I'm on Facebook and now I can leave. And I didn't want to live that way anymore. And I was like kind of living in fear. Am I doing the right thing at work? Am I doing the right thing at home with friends? And I couldn't do that anymore. I felt stuck. I was overwhelmed. And I was like, I can't go through this. So I needed to take time for myself to reset. And I went through mindfulness and life coaching and sought others for help. And then during this process, I was like, I cannot be the only person that this happens to. And I don't want anyone else to have to go through this alone or without the support of someone who understands it. And it really is mindset, because what we think, and feel, we make them facts. They're not necessarily true, but we're feeling a certain way and we have a certain perspective, and it really limits us. And so I, once I finished my coaching school, mindset certified and life coach, I, started my business and, here to empower others and make them, see life through a different lens.
Okay, when did you realize that you were people pleasing? And in the face of people pleasing, I can imagine that you're giving so much energy out, you're not receiving your own energy and you're not receiving energy from others because you're just giving and giving and giving. At what point did you realize that you needed to stop people pleasing, give yourself boundaries, and then start a brand new life?
That's a really good question. And I often don't talk about this a lot, but I was not sleeping. I was up at 3 a.m. I had adrenal fatigue. And, my cortisol levels were through the roof and something, it wasn't right to be waking up and worrying. Life
Right.
isn't, that serious. I was making it, not fun anymore. And I want to have fun. I consider myself fun. So I didn't want to live this way anymore. And it was really hard to get out of your own way when you're stuck.
It is.
And and that's why I really, kind of started my business because you can become unstuck. There's ways to overcome that.
I love how you said that you can become unstuck, because I can imagine not sleeping and having adrenal fatigue. Your hormone levels are crazy. If your hormones are not in harmony and they're not in balance, they're not in harmony, I mean your life is really going to feel out of whack, and it can definitely feel like you're stuck. So when did things start to actually turn around?
It was probably the end of um 2021 when I, really took action and stopped putting off my own priorities and dug deep and kind of realized, okay, things need to change in my life. How, what needs to be removed, whether that's, relationships, careers, what needs to be added in and kind of refocus. And that's what really had, kind of started this trend into seeking into how do I empower myself and change my perspective because I have so much good in my life and I've accomplished so much as I mentioned before, but I can't see that. And so, I needed to focus on that. And sometimes, I think about everything I've done in a year and I'm like, okay, I'm not lacking anything. I'm just lacking self-esteem and validation internally. I wasn't loving myself.
That's super important. So then you were able to realize that as far as like resources and outside things, you were okay there, and a lot of the things, your struggles, your obstacles were internal. So you had to go inward and see where you were lacking and where those false beliefs were in order to come up and rise to the top.
Right. And everyone was like, you need to journal, you need to write a letter to yourself. And I was like, I don't want to, put my words on paper or write a letter about how I love myself because I couldn't, I didn't feel that way. And I didn't want anyone to see what was in my head.
Uh-huh.
So, I put that off for so long until I was like, well, I need to try this. And it was very helpful to kind of just get everything out and just start small.
Exactly. Start small. I did that myself, Kate, and it wasn't easy to write a letter to myself, and you actually start seeing some of your traumas and some of the things that are keeping you stagnant and stuck, and seeing how, oh, is this true for me? Wait, this isn't true. And when you start to eliminate what is true and what isn't true, it's like a bricks off your shoulders, and you kind of just start to feel a little lighter and start to live a little more free and more flexible. That's really beautiful.
Absolutely.
And so then once you started to realize where you were stuck and you started to get unstuck, was this around the same time when you were finishing becoming certified as a life coach?
Yeah. And it took a while because like, when you're as you age, you kind of get stuck in your own ways and your habits become habitual. So
Mhm.
it definitely took a while for my paradigm of thinking to change and for me to kind of experience things, you know, that I could have avoided, but I was, stuck in my own way. Until I really kind of was like, okay, oh my gosh, I can see it. I can see the bigger picture.
Mhm.
And that was probably November of 2022. And I was like, wow, this is, great. I am going to, come up with like a list of things that I'm going to do, some milestones and a big now goal. And, my business had just started and it was like, I need to launch this fully. I needed to switch careers. I needed to kind of rework some relationships. And then it kind of just worked. I wrote it down. I worked towards it every day. I'm not perfect. Everyone has,
Sure.
days where they don't think right. And it really started to come together once you realize like, okay, this isn't true. And, the things that people have been helping with or telling you with or coaching you on, you know, can you be open to hearing that? And it finally was.
You know what's beautiful about that, Kate, is when you had that paradigm shift was when you're finishing becoming a certified professional life coach, and it's like everything became came into alignment with you. You're following what is you're going about to be passionate about, and in doing that, the rest of your life started to fall into place.
Yes. And, finally, when someone told me that I need to rise my, vibration and not let my energy go down to like others, I finally got it. It was like, oh my gosh, yes. I need to be, the bright light in the room, not the,
Yes.
dim light bulb because everyone around me might be.
I
Oh,
love that. Be the bright light in the room. And that's really difficult for people because so many people are dimming their lights. And even if it's not people pleasing, if they're dimming their lights for people pleasing, they're just dimming their own light because of their false beliefs of whatever other things that have been that they've grown up with or heard or it's really it can we go again with the word it can get you stuck. And
yeah.
so when you started to come into your own light, what did you see was coming up as a rebirth for you?
um Total too much self-awareness of other people. People are more drawn to you and
Mhm.
things just kind of happen naturally for you,
Right.
opportunities, lessons learned, and things just flow. My blog writing really took off, and just like my attraction towards fun and good things really came along. But I felt better about myself, so the way I carried myself was definitely more confidence, and that's what I needed, not to kind of you know make myself small in a room because I was afraid what other would think, or I didn't want to speak out of turn, or I just was me. I finally was myself.
That's beautiful. You finally became in alignment with your authentic nature. And that's awesome because this made you be who you are today. You went through it, you battled through the obstacles, you changed your mindset, you became motivated, self motivated, and now you are able to help clients do the same. And
Mhm.
so, what is a life coach? Let's say someone's listening to this for the first time and they've heard it, and it's like, well, that's a buzzword. What does that mean? But
Yes.
who is a life coach? What is a life coach?
What is a life coach? Who are they? It's someone that's going to push you forward. So the
Love
difference
that.
between a life coach and therapy is that we focus on where you are now and where you want to be, and we
Okay.
support you and guide you through the journey that is. In my practice, I want to know what is the vision you aspire to be. Who is that person?
Uh-huh.
Or what areas in your life do you think are lower in how you feel about them that you want to improve on, and what are some limiting beliefs, some challenges that you are currently having. You're stuck in a job, you're just kind of in a relationship that's not working out, or you're just trying to keep up as a female CEO and you're not sure what's going on. You need confidence in yourself. And so the first thing I like to do is like make a desire list. What are some qualities that you want to have in yourself, and start showing up as that person, right? Like, so that you're kind of already taking that on. What is this person you want to be that you're not right now? What does that person look, do, and feel? And so it's really working closely with the client to make sure that they get to that end point. So a lot of it is kind of finding out, what happened that you think this way, or your thoughts about this, what needs to kind of change. And it's really a guided practice through them. And I kind of give them a different lens to think about through different activities. Because sometimes we forget what we're really good at, and we need to we need to remember that and like Just make a list. What are you like superb in? Give yourself some validation.
Because I was just gonna ask you this. What if you get a client and you ask them, what are some qualities that you want to be good at, or what are qualities that you want to embody? And what if someone says, I don't know? What if they really don't know?
That's okay. We start there. We start small. What do you like about yourself? Maybe it's, your eyebrows. And we just start, being grateful and then picking something else or, focus on getting deeper about, okay, why don't you like these things? So maybe there's a reason why, or they were told, they can't do certain things as a child, right? They can't, change jobs 50 times. You're supposed to get a job and then retire. So just changing their mindset. And sometimes we have to start small, and it's not big changes, because I can't help someone move forward if they're not, you know, at that place and time too. Sometimes there's a little bit of, you know, talking through the challenges and the blocks and how we can get
Right.
over them. I meet you exactly where you are without any judgment, and then, work towards getting you to a different place that you choose that you want to be. Not where I think you should be, but where you would like to be. Is your end goal to have, some more confidence, to switch your job, to feel better about yourself, to have, some time freedom in your life, to not have that imposter syndrome hold you back.
Right.
We work with that, 'cause everyone's situation is so different, and it would be unfair if my program wasn't specifically unique to the person when I do my one-on-one coaching.
Kate, do you go over your clients' values, and what would be the difference between the qualities that someone wants to embody versus their values, or do those come hand in hand?
So that's a really good question. So values and morals. So what are things that
Mhm.
they actually, not what society told them, but they believe in that a character should have? And do they have any of those values?
Mm-hmm.
Let's start there, right? And
Right.
why do they like those? And so that's a whole conversation, because I want to know why you think it's important to be loyal, or to um, be respectful, or to be, what is a good person, right?
Right.
What does that mean to you? What is, um, being successful look like to you? And where do you see yourself in those terms?
I love how you said that. What is a good person? Because a good person to me is not going to be a good person to someone else.
Right.
So, and
So
that's when they can pinpoint what's valuable to them. And
exactly. And
yeah,
so, sometimes it's, okay, well, then it's reminding them, like, look, like, you have really good things that you value. And so, and that's really good. And you consider to have any of these. And if they say yes, like, that's a huge shift in mindset. Like, you are a good person in what, you think, or you do have these amazing qualities that, are things that you just said that you like in people, that you have in yourself.
right.
Because, what we think, we're going to reflect out into the world, and sometimes we're going to have those same situations come back to us, right? So we want to kind of change our thinking and what we are allowing in our life, so that we're not getting it reciprocated back to us.
And then in doing that, you're able to target what's unique to them, their own skills and their own gifts, and point it out to them because obviously they're not seeing it and they're not feeling it. So you're able
Right.
to reflect that back to them.
Exactly. And so that's kind of where the mind starts to shift.
That's beautiful. Are you able to share a success story with about one of your clients?
Sure. So I had a client that was preparing herself for a big family celebration with a family and friends that, had dynamics in it, to say, with people that had not been in touch with. And do you invite them, right? Like if you have a wedding, take for instance, like, do you invite all these people that you think you should invite or whatnot? And why don't you want to invite them? Or you want to, but you don't know how to make amends. And through the process of being like, tell me more, what happened? Why do you think this about yourself or about that person? They were able to kind of write letters, get it out on paper, and then have a conversation where a very close loved one was able to reconcile so she can move forward with her life and they can engage together and have a foster a relationship together. That's one of my success stories. Another one is
I
someone
love that. So
who
they gain confidence.
they gain confidence. And another person, was able to take a leap of faith on her own after through some work to grow. Sometimes you have to change, and that's uncomfortable. And
Right.
so she was able to leave her job and start her own business on her own, where she was solely responsible for herself and could create her own client experience. And
That's beautiful.
that's really nerve wracking, especially when you're told, that you work and you get paid by a person
Oh yeah.
and this is what you do. And you may go and lose all your clients when you switch, into a
Sure.
different sales position. Um, and so she needed that support and that guidance and questions to ask, things to look for, and just to be aware. Do you really want this, or is this something stagnant or something else that sometimes people want to change things, but they're not first looking at like, can you add more value to whatever you're doing? And if the answer is no, and if you've learned everything you possibly can in this one place, sometimes that's why you feel stuck. And that's when it's time to move on, especially in careers or even relationships, if you're not getting what you need and you've expressed that.
I love how you said that. Can you add more value? And if not, that's when you're stuck. And that's not just with career, but also with relationships. That's so important because if you don't feel that you are valuable, I mean, I mean that that's a domino effect of downward spiraling after that.
Absolutely, because then everything else is just not going to be in a very friendly lens, right? Because if you're not feeling valued and what you're putting in, you're not getting back, then that's a one-sided relationship.
It is a one-sided relationship and it's unproductive and it can, I mean, it definitely makes somebody feel like they're just unseen and unworthy and undeserving, and that's usually when you know it's time to shine light on yourself.
Yes. And, I'm not saying you just quit. I mean, you can definitely find tries to work at it. But it's ultimately your decision. Who know
Right.
what you want to continue and allow in your life.
So you not only help people with their careers, you help them with their relationships as well.
Yes, because at the end of the day, everything is affected by the way that you feel and think about it. So everyone is neutral. It's our thoughts about them that, give them some sort of meaning. And so a lot of that is working on, choosing better thinking, choosing empowerment for yourself in the situation and kind of going over before you react, really thinking about it.
Right. Right. That's incredible. I love this. And so, I find this so fascinating because
Yeah.
it's just everyday stuff. People are going through this every day, and they don't even realize that they're stuck. They're kind of just in that rut, and not realizing that you're stuck. People can get depressed. People can start to close off. They can start to disconnect. All kinds of things can happen when you don't even realize that you're stuck.
Right. And that's what happened to me. And I get it. Like it's up. It doesn't feel great. And it's like, what's wrong with me? Or what, it's, instead of what's for me. And
Yes.
and so that's what, I love to see when the client has that epiphany because it's just so amazing for them to kind of really see that and embracing themselves in a way that they're living for themselves and lessons learned, not regrets.
Exactly. Because if you're in regret, then that's self-sabotaging thoughts.
Yes. Absolutely. And then you ruminate about it and you
Yeah,
stay up and worrying it. At least if you were me, you do.
right.
And they're not even true.
Yeah. Most of the things that we're thinking throughout the day is not true. And what I've realized myself is that usually if I'm thinking things that are mostly underlying the underlying emotion is fear, I know that that's not true because anything in the fear realm, which is all negativity, is not going to be true. And the only high vibrational value there is love. And when you can vibrate there as often as you can, doors will start opening for yourself and for others and everything around you.
Yes. So you can either face it or run away from it. And so the only way through it is to go through it.
And that can be so challenging for so many people to
Oh
actually
yeah.
face it, especially when they see what they're about to face.
But that 30 seconds that usually takes you to face it is so worth it. And you feel so much better at the end.
That's so true. Yeah, definitely. So how do you help your clients cope with feelings of burnt out feelings or just stress in general?
Great question. So I like to find out why they're feeling that way, what's causing this stress, and then what can kind of be eliminated or what needs to be organized more. Sometimes it's because someone, has poor time management, so that they feel that they're, everywhere, they have no time for themselves, but really is they're just not managing their calendar well enough.
Hmm.
So how are you managing your time? Where are you wasting it that you're feeling stressed out? Because, right, a lot of it is the overwhelmed is, especially if you're a parent or, you have to have a lot of jobs or you're taking care of someone, you're just running back and forth and you don't feel like you have any downtime. But
Right.
we all do. It's just what we are choosing to do with it. So, those are some of the things I look at with people is, okay, let's see where your time is that you're saying that you're burnt out. What is burnt out to you? Is it because you're not getting enough sleep? Why? Is it because you're working too many hours, or what's the cause that you're thinking that's causing that? Another thing is simple things as, you know, eliminating one thing that is super stressing them out. So if they are always stressed out about emails, it's okay. Like, we're going to push your time to looking at emails to a certain period of time, or they're always worrying. You're going to just write that worry down and you have 30 minutes to worry about it. And for, other clients, it's like, okay, when you start to feel stressed out, write 3 things that are going well for you today.
Hmm.
And just to kind of refocus that. And then we work on more things. Morning work. How do you want to show up today? What are ways that you're going to put in your day to de-stress? So are you going to take, 5 minutes in between Zooms to, just kind of close your eyes, do deep breathing, meditate, walk around the office, get up if you're working from home, just,
Hmm.
not sitting there. So you kind of just change your perspective. Um, I like to include like at least 7 to 10 minute walking breaks too, if people can during the day, if they're really overwhelmed and stressed, because that's going to help increase your endorphins and kind of get your mind off
Right.
of it. Another thing that's really good is that your mind can't be feeling 2 different things at the same time or can't think of 2 different
Right.
things. So, you know, if you start thinking about things that you're grateful for, or think of 2 different animals, like a bear and a zebra, you're only going to pick one. So you're kind of just like messing with yourself a
Yeah.
little bit. So those are just some simple strategies that I start with, because no one's going to meditate for 20 minutes if they've never done it before.
Oh yeah.
And if their mind's not going to shut down during meditation, we're not going to start there. So, I like to find out what the person enjoys or what they would do if they were have time to de-stress. And then we work it from there.
I really love that. These activities that you give them, because all really stress and burnout and all of that is trapped energy in the body. So if you're allowing them to release their energy, that trapped energy in a lot of different ways, so it can get dispersed and not be stuck in one area. It's like
Yeah.
it's like a,
Like,
it's like a knot of energy usually when it's a burnout or stress. And also something else,
exactly.
Kate, that I thought right now when we're talking about burnout is that it just hit me. Also, burnout can happen if you're not having enough fun in life. Like, where's your joy? Like, what brings you joy? Have you ever thought
Yeah.
about? Yeah, I'm sure you've thought about that.
yeah, you need to make a bucket list. That's, another activity. Like, could
Yeah.
you think, like, it was really hard for me when I did it. It was like 100 things that you want to do, before, the next few, decades of your life. And
Wow, I
100,
haven't done that. I'm gonna
yeah,
write this
I mean,
down.
I got up to like, I got up
Oh,
there in high
whoa.
numbers, but I'm like, I don't like heights. So it's like, I'm not going to jump out, go
Yeah.
skydiving. But, gives them something to do, break up their routine, go out to dinner during the week, call out sick,
Yeah,
do something
exactly.
wild,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
go to a different grocery store if you're not, if you're very not
So
into changing up.
true. So that it's not so robotic and so rigid and structured. You kind of have to break up that structure and allow more flexibility and more flow in your life.
Right. Because otherwise it's wake up, you go to work, maybe you do some other, drive home and then get ready for the next day. It's the same thing.
That's awesome. 100 things I want to do.
Hmm. I can't wait to hear your list.
I can't even, I wouldn't even know if there's 100 things that I want, but I'm sure and you know what's beautiful about that is that you also allow for creativity to come in mind. And that brings joy. Creativity brings all kinds of joy. So I
And
mean,
when
yeah,
you're burnt out and stressed, you're not creative. You're
true.
blocked.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, you're totally blocked. Absolutely. Once the creative juices flow in, that's really when you start to get to know who you are. And that's where all the beauty's at. I love it.
Hmm.
Definitely.
And something I give to my clients too, for free is just a dream journal, like a vision journal, you know, just for them to start thinking on their own.
A dream journal as far as like what their dreams are or literally things that they dream at night or both.
Oh, no, like things that wishes and hopes and dreams that
Okay.
they want in their life.
That's beautiful.
So, people do vision boards in the beginning of the year where
Right.
they, cut out pictures or sayings that they want to, have in their life or
Sure.
accomplish that year. Now you're writing it down, allowing your kind of brain to be a little bit, creative in that sorts.
That's awesome. Okay, what do you find the most challenging about being a life coach?
Challenging, is that people don't see how amazing they are. And I get
Oh,
that.
yeah.
And that's my job to make sure that you see that by the end, by the end of the time with me, because it's hard when you're really in a dark place. I know for me it was, right? You don't see that you're a shining rock star, but you are.
I love that because everybody's a shining rock star. Everybody.
Yeah,
We all come with our own unique gifts for a reason.
absolutely.
Kate, this has been amazing. It's inspiring. I wrote down an incredible amount of things, and I can't wait to write down the 100 things I want to do. Can you add more value? Just these incredible things that you said, talking through your challenges and what is your end goal? What are you superb at? What are some of the qualities you want to be and be it? Just so inspiring. Thanks so much for motivating our viewers, our watchers, and our listeners. And how can our viewers, watchers, listeners find you if they need a life coach?
Sure. So you could just go to my website at glendoncoaching.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at kglendon_coaching. And I am in control of all of the communication, so you'll hear directly from me.
Awesome. Kate Glendon, everybody. Incredible life coach. Thanks so much for sharing your love and light. And I wish you. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Dr. Lino Show, A Little Less Fear podcast. If you'd like to get a hold of me, you can do so by sending me an email at a little less fear at gmail.com or through an inquiry from my website at www.alittlelessfear.com, where you will always find information on where to get my book. You can get my book on Amazon and Amazon paperback version, Kindle or Kindle Unlimited. And I also create incredible visual video poetry for people that are interested in marketing or even just to send a personal note to anybody or somebody that you might love. So yeah, check it out. I love it. Poetry is my passion, one of my other passions, aside from doing what I do right now, which is giving you all the motivation that you need to keep growing, to keep motivating people, motivating yourself, and to keep expanding. I love you all so much. Have a blessed day and take care. Rock on. all of your clients the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely.